Hey guys, what's up? It's HOBITUERRA, but you guys can call me T. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, what's poppin'? What you got going on? Alright guys, so today we're going to take a little bit of a break from movies and TV shows, but I do have some things in the works. Currently reading a book right now. What I thought. I'm reading a book called Daggermouth. So far, I'm really liking it. Not reading it because I've been a little bit busy with things, but I do want to do maybe like a little book review on it. Let me take an English class, learn how to articulate my words, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm doing a lot of hand movements. I'm like super overstimulated right now. There's like fucking cat hair on my face right now. I just did my makeup. I feel like everything is touching me. I feel like my skin is on my body right now. Jesus fucking Christ. There it is. Okay. But that's not what we're in store for today, okay guys? Today we're going to be on Reddit. I was actually on Reddit last night with my boyfriend reading a bunch of stories. I read this one story. It was about this girl trying to have a free wedding. Sorry. It's Friday. I can do whatever the fuck I want. She was having a free wedding. Turns out her fiance just really wanted to have a free wedding so he could buy a bow. It was a whole lot of things going on. And this intrigued me. It felt like I could make something shake with it. But today we're going to read other people's stories and judge them. The Reddit page that I was on was the Reddit page that I was on is best to... Okay. Here we go again. Here we go again. The Reddit page that we are going to be on is Best of Redditor Updates. So this page, it lets you know if the story is ongoing, concluded, or unsolved. What is this, a fucking true crime? Oh, what the fuck? I just spilled all over myself. Can y'all see that? Damn it, you guys can. I was curating a list with my boyfriend. I did read a little bit of them, and then some of them I just read like the title and I was like, yeah, just put it in the list. We'll see what the fuck happens. Leave a little mystery, leave a little smark. My brother and my mom are talking loud as fuck upstairs. Like they know that like I'm filming right now. No, they don't. I'm like hiding in my room like, guys, welcome back to my channel. Alright guys. This one is concluded. Me, 30 male, with my 24-year-old wife. She wanted to bring egg rolls to the Thanksgiving dinner with my family, and now we're having a huge fight. First of all, if we got egg rolls at the Thanksgiving, I'm taking them. I may show up if there's egg rolls. I will be honest. Also, do we have sweet and sour sauce? What kind of egg rolls are they? If they're vegetable, yeah. If they're chicken, yeah. My family has a big traditional Thanksgiving dinner every year, and I'm always excited to attend with my wife and kid. However, this year, as I was on the phone with my mom, my wife put in that she'd like to bring egg rolls for Thanksgiving dinner. She mentioned that she wanted to bring her mom, who does not eat any American food, so it would be nice to have some food present that her mom would enjoy. After getting off the phone with my mom, I had a combo with my wife. To clarify, I don't mind having other food present on Thanksgiving dinner, and I would love her mom to attend and enjoy herself. However, I told my wife we can't just bring egg rolls to Thanksgiving because the point of the potluck is for everyone to contribute to a traditional Thanksgiving meal, so I was planning to buy some pies too. Okay. Somehow, this kicked off a huge fight. My wife said that it's ignorant for me to want only American food on Thanksgiving. I kept telling her I don't want just American food to the exclusion of everything else, but we do have to contribute to a traditional meal because that's what everyone else is doing and expecting. My family is 75% Asian American, by the way, but we do mostly American food on Thanksgiving because it's an American holiday. My wife says things like, why can't Thanksgiving just be about coming together and eating the foods we like together as a family? My response is like, yeah, of course it's important for all of us to be together and have food we like, but damn it, it's a potluck and I want to contribute to the potluck in a way that respects our family's traditions. I just feel like the American food is part of Thanksgiving, and if bringing some of the aforementioned American food to said holiday, the expectation, that's not racist or whatever. In fact, I feel like it's disrespectful to be unwilling to pitch in for that. In the end, my wife and I agreed that she would bring the egg rolls and other dishes she wanted, and I bring some pies, stuffing, and whatnot. However, she's still supremely pissed. Let's look at these comments before we get on to the update. Somebody said, when my aunt brought baked ziti to our Thanksgiving, I thought, oh fuck yeah, baked ziti. Nobody gives a going shit that you brought egg rolls, and if they do, then the problem is theirs, not your wife. I get the whole American tradition, pies, turkey, you know, but throw a little bit of egg rolls in there too. Prime rib steak in there, maybe some Wagyu beef. Like, I don't know, let's change it up. So I just feel like it doesn't really matter. We're talking about Thanksgiving here. Be thankful for the food that you get, because not everybody can bring egg rolls to the potluck. Somebody said, from your own wording, you wanted to buy pies in addition to her contribution, not because she isn't bringing enough food, but because she isn't bringing American food. I understand why she's offended. It's like her contribution doesn't count and isn't good enough because it's from her culture. Somebody said, agreed. If he'd have been like, let's bring a dessert too, pumpkin pies are always popular, this fight would have never happened. It became a fight because he made it a cultural issue. I think that's definitely true. It's just, let her bring the fucking egg rolls. Why are you making it an American thing? Like, we all know that Thanksgiving is American. Let her fucking put the fucking egg rolls in the car. Here's an update. Hello. I just posted about this a few hours ago. Well, it only took the first few responses to roll in for me to realize I was in the wrong. Correct. Look, a man with a brain. That's crazy. I don't understand. Me and my wife spoke and we realized the whole argument was dumb. Why can't I just be happy she and her mom want to join my family for Thanksgiving regardless of what they're bringing to the table? We have plenty of food to go around regardless. Why focus so much on the hypothetical of what if we could only bring one thing and get offended at each other's answers? It eventually dawned on us that the argument was really about Thanksgiving. It was about my parents. My stepdad is the kind of asshole and has always been a hypercritical of my wife, which I've butted heads with him about dozens of times in the past. My mom is such more benign, but she does subtly back him at times. Even though I always dismiss my dad's opinions about my wife's not contributing enough or controlling me too much, I think they were subtly affecting me anyway. I realized that inside I was super stressed and tense about getting into another stupid argument with my parents, or I don't know, failing them. And this was manifesting as me being overly confrontational towards my wife about, well, not contributing too much or controlling me too much. Looking back, we've had a bunch of arguments of varying sizes over the past few months, and almost all of them traces back to my parents in some way. That's the reason we were both getting increasingly stubborn about these petty issues. She could sense me being weird and out of character, and I was letting my parents' pressure work through me. After explaining all of this with my wife, I got on the phone with my mom and just laid everything out. Look, Mom, I'm bringing the fucking egg rolls. I know you don't even know that I'm bringing egg rolls, but I'm bringing the fucking egg rolls. We had a great talk, and she reassured me that she doesn't give a shit about the food. She just wants my wife and my mom-in-law to have a great time and enjoy themselves around my side of the family. My stepdad is another story, but whatever the fuck his opinion. Me and my wife both apologized for blowing things out of proportion. I think that I want to know what the wife's side of the story is. I feel like he just blew things out of proportion. That still doesn't give him a reason or a choice. Be a man and be adult and communicate about it in the situation instead of making an argument. Actually, I think that this argument is dumb. I think that you should just bring the fucking egg rolls. And I admitted I was wrong. We both feel much better now, and we've agreed to try and do emotional reset. I'm still bringing pie and stuffing, but it's more for me, and I honestly don't care what my wife brings or doesn't bring as long as she shows up and has a good time. I'm honestly glad that they worked out their issues. I feel like these are the type of arguments that me and my boyfriend have, not family based, but it's just like we just fight about stupid shit, and then I'm like, look here, puppy. You could bring the egg rolls. I am me talking shit about men, but I'm actually the person that would be wrong in this situation. I'd be like, why the fuck you bringing egg rolls? We getting sweet potato pie, bitch. And we get collard greens and chitlins. Maybe if you could bring spring rolls instead of the peanut butter sauce, because I'm not really a fan of the peanut butter sauce. Let's get into it really quick. I like the broth of the pho as my dipping sauce, but I always mix up the broth of my pho and I put the hoisin sauce in there with the chili flakes in there with lemon, and then I put in I'm finding it, the jalapeno peppers, mix that thing together. I have a good spicy pho, but then when I get the spring rolls on the side, pork and shrimp combination, dip it in. Oh, that was unnecessary. That was unnecessary. This one is, am I the bitch if I were to tell my roommate that I don't want to feed her dog anymore? Under what context? Hi there. First post on the subreddit, so apologies if I get anything wrong, but just need some advice. I've been living with my roommate for a little over a year now, and she had her dog since we moved in. She has a pretty active social life, so is out most nights or stays over at her parents a lot and leaves the dog at home. When we first moved in, she would pay me whenever she asked me to feed the dog or make sure she has water and brings her in at night. At some point, she stopped offering, and I didn't ask because I felt like it was too small of a task to ask for money. Recently though, I've been feeling more annoyed whenever she asks, not because it's difficult to do, but because there seems to be an expectation I'll do it. She'll go out, sometimes 3 to 4 times a week, and ask me every time. I don't know. I just want to know if it's unreasonable for me to feel away, because it feels like I'm looking after a dog without any of the benefits of actually owning one. I can't walk it, let it in my room, etc. I understand that's her choices as an owner, and I'm respectful to it, but again, it feels like I'm raising it to the point without any benefits. I also feel a bit disrespected in terms of she thinks I'm always available to do it. After a year of this happening, I've come to a realization that I've put off activities, etc. to make sure someone is at home for the dog and watching over them. I really don't want to do it anymore, and I don't know how to bring up the topic. I just wish she would plan time in to do it herself. I wouldn't mind doing the favor every now and then, but I don't want to do it as frequently as I have been. Edit, she also messages me to do stuff when she's already out or if she's gone straight from work to do something. Alright, look, I think personally, and this is me, I'm a people pleaser. I will do something because I want people to know that I care and I'll do something, but it does become a habit and it becomes a routine, and then people will expect it out of you because they're like, well, you never said no before, you never had a problem before. This is something that I'm learning now. You have to make those boundaries clear and set beforehand. Yes, I will help out with your dog every now and then, but I also have a life. You're out 3 to 4 times a week. You need to figure it the fuck out. And you have to come to terms with that. You let that happen. You let that happen. Now you have to deal with the confrontation of telling that person that, hey, actually, I want to set a boundary because I don't actually want to do this all the time. Let's look at these comments. Next time she asks, put your shoes on and coat on and go, sorry, I can't, I'm on my way out, and just leave. Even if it's just a walk or to the shop. Just make sure she can't leave you with the dog. If you're not there, she'll have to do it. This is what I would do. I would avoid confrontation, and I would just be like, well, I'm just gonna act like I'm busy and then I won't be able to help them. No, because then it's gonna cause even more tension in the house. You need to let this person know, hey, no. I had to start learning that on my own to tell people I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do that. I don't want to do what you want me to do because I don't have to. But from day one when you moved in this house and you decided that you were going to bring a dog in this house, that was none of my business, and that's none of my property, and that's none of my responsibility. I will say though, she's not the bitch. I just think that she needs to learn how to speak up for herself. That's all. Here's an update. For some context, I've been living with a roommate for the past year who's asked me to feed, give, water to, bring in her dog when she goes out, which is multiple times a week, to the point where she would message me even when okay, what was that? I ended up talking to her about it, and when she started telling me her plans again. In summary, seeing that as much as I liked her dog, I wanted to help her, I wanted to step back from doing those sorts of responsibilities because she's not my dog. My roommate said that she'd been meaning to talk to me about it for the past couple of months because she felt bad about me doing those things, but also, and I still don't know how to feel about this because she's worried I'm getting too attached to the dog and she's getting jealous. Girl. I'm upset because I'm never home at all, and the responsibilities of a dog owner I passed to you, and now my dog is kind of liking you a little bit more, and I just really don't like it. To be honest, I was more playful when I greet the dog now compared to last year, comfortable with her in her room, and I asked my roommate if I could walk her once, but she said no, so I didn't. But that seems kind of ridiculous to me to say I'm too attached because of that. I kind of used that as more of a reason to her why I didn't want to be doing those things anymore. I did also ask her why she would message me to feed her when both of us were out. She knew she was going out. She said because it was too late, expensive to get an Uber back to our place, which is why I feel bad still putting my foot down about not doing this anymore. But again, it's her dog, her responsibility. I'm not doing it anymore. I did also ask her to stop messaging me for updates on how the dog is doing, as it makes me feel like I've got to watch out for her constantly. I don't know if this is too far though. Good news is that I might be getting a pet of my own. I've been putting it off for a year because of her dog and the fact that she didn't want me to ask our landlord because of reasons, like waiting until we've been there longer or until inspection or until lease is renewed. The goalpost just kept moving. So I asked him myself and he said he's more than happy for me too. Thanks for all the comments on the previous post. Definitely a wake-up call on how much I've been letting her and her life dictate my own for no reason. It feels nice to not have that weight on my shoulders now. Somebody said she's gonna keep dumping her dog on you. Nothing is gonna change long term. Maybe for a week. If you get your own pet while still living with her, you'll end up taking care of both you and your roommate's pet. Roommate said her comment about attachment and jealousy as it means to deflect, throw you off, and a touch of reverse psychology. I don't know, man. I feel like she's still gonna take advantage of you. That bitch is just gonna leave like every 3 to 4 weeks and be like, hey, I'm one to talk because when I was living in LA and I had my roommate Hallie, we had 3 cats in the house. I had 2 cats, she had 1 cat, my little lovely nephew Kingsley. But she was low-key taking care of my cats. I would just leave. Obviously, we shared food. They were eating on the same meal plan. But now I'm kind of feeling bad because I was like, I would just head the fuck out of that bitch for like 3 full 5 days. But they were free fed and a water fountain. So I'm like, they was chilling. Am I a bad pet parent? No, my kids love me. Alright, am I the asshole for keeping all my prize money even though it would help my dad and my stepmom? Like, what do we got? Let's find out the context, okay guys? My phone's on 7%. I'll fix the grammar later. That is actually so real. When I'm texting my bestie Brianna, you better figure out what the fuck I'm saying because I'm a type paragraph, return, paragraph, return, send. I'm sending a novel in this bitch. You will have to correct my grammar on your own time. I couldn't be bothered. I, 16 female, entered our yearly Towns raffle not thinking I'd win. I just bought tickets because I supported the charity. There are always good prizes, and the top one being a gift card for $1,000 in a gift card. My stepmom won a fancy wine food basket, which she told us she'd enjoy to all her... Okay, maybe it's just her. She did say she was gonna fix the grandma later. I feel like she never came back to it. Which she told us she'd enjoy all to herself as it was her prize, and with the pregnancy money troubles, she said she deserved something just for her. About 2 days later, while at my mom's, I got a text saying I won. After collecting my prize, my mom said I should spend it on all the things I wanted, but we couldn't afford, so I get nice shoes, perfumes, makeup, etc. Here's where I made a mistake. I posted on social media about winning what I got. Within 30 minutes, Dad called me and told me I was selfish and cool to buy myself unnecessary crap, while I knew that they were struggling. Stepmom then got on the phone and asked how much I had left, so I said $280. She then asked would I return my stuff or at the very least give them the gift card so they could get stuff for the baby because I knew how bad they were struggling. I said no, just like her gift basket, it was mine to keep. She started crying, calling me names, and I couldn't understand. Dad took the phone saying that he was disappointed in me and I've changed the way he views me. I just hung up afterwards, and Dad told my mom that it's best I don't come over for a few weeks due till everyone calms down. My stepsister texted me saying, fuck them, they shouldn't be having more kids they can't afford. But my stepmom had been sending me messages begging me to help them out for the innocent baby's sake. Now I feel extremely guilty. Look here. When I turned 17 and I get my first job at McDonald's, I get them $680 paychecks every 2 weeks. You couldn't tell me nothing. I'm buying this, and that, this, give me that, 2 of those, 4 of thems. None for you. I'm gonna be really real. None for you. And I was 16, 17, 18 years old at the time. You weren't gonna tell me nothing. You mean to tell me that this girl won a prize of $1,000 in gift cards and she spent it on herself because it was a prize that she paid for and that she won? And that's all to her. You decided to have a baby in this economy? And you thought that this 16-year-old girl wasn't gonna buy the stuff that she wanted? Some kids are just like that. Some kids are gonna do that. But you need to learn and figure out that your kids are not the ones that are about to do that. And at least the simple thing to do is that if you knew you were struggling with these and you knew your daughter got a gift card, you could have asked her, hey, can I borrow $280 for this baby stuff? I'll make it back to you. That's at least. But you made her feel guilty as a 16-year-old girl who's malleable to all of these things here in the world. And she's now going to view you guys a lot differently than before because of the way that you talk to her. They said, how's the fastest way I can ruin my relationship with my child? When are they gonna put me in a group home? Alright, here's an update. My mom was at work when everything really happened and we never got a chance at a proper conversation until she woke up a while ago. She asked to see the messages I was sent and got extremely angry, so she called my father and asked to be put on the speaker that ripped them both a new one. She told my dad that she'll be going back to court for full custody and the backdated child support he owed, which was news to me, not gonna lie. He told her she can't do that, and she said with the text and voicemails they sent us, she very much could. I started getting calls, but I just blocked them. Stepsister told me they're losing their shit thinking of ways to fix it, and the best is if I blocked her number, Instagram, and we just speak via TikTok till she's 18 in 5 months and we can legally live with her older sister. Honestly, stepsister is literally actually, my mom's a fucking bitch, your dad's a fucking dick. Let's just like figure it out later. I need you to protect yourself. Do not contact me. Give me 5 months. I'll figure it out. Me and you are in this, we're locked in, twin him. Don't know what dad and stepmom will do after all their babysitters leave the house, but I hope they'll just stop having kids they can't afford. I know it's super early to say this because it's been a day, but the things dad said to me, I honestly think our relationship will never be okay, but maybe in a few months I might forgive him. Thank you for the support. Somebody said she could have possibly traded someone that basket for money, or not spent any money on raffle tickets she couldn't even afford to spend on the first place. OP said, yeah, they're not the smartest with money. When she was pregnant with my third half sister, they went on a baby moon and she demanded a push present even though my uncle had to pay for their electric and water to be turned on. This is why I say that some people shouldn't be allowed to have children. Here's the last one of the night. Am I the asshole for destroying 3 generations of family relationships because they refuse to hold my sisters accountable? Not sisters plural, sister. I don't know why I read it like that. Trigger warning, car accident, body injuries, favoritism, physical assault, trauma, developmental disabilities, mental health struggles, child abuse, psychotic behavior. That's a lot. There's a lot of trigger warnings in there. What is going on here? Hi Reddit. Long time lurker, first time poster in the step. I have changed some details to protect the innocent, but the core of the story is true as I am currently living in it. I, 45 male, am embroiled in a family drama that has been simmering for decades. About a week and a half ago, I was in a pretty bad car accident. I underwent spinal surgery and have been recovering nicely while on a wonderful cocktail of medically prescribed drugs. The accident itself isn't important, but I think the medications may have affected how I responded to everything that followed. Also, my family and I are African American. This is important context given the cultural climate in the United States. I'm also African American, if you guys haven't noticed. By the way, happy Black History Month. It is now March when I'm posting this video, but I had a great month this month. I'm the oldest of 3 with 2 younger sisters. Karen, 42, Katie, 39. Katie and I have always gotten along fairly well, but my relationship with Karen has been strained pretty much from the beginning, for reasons that will become clear. I said this has been simmering for decades, so let's start at the beginning. My parents always said I was a loving and attentive big brother when we were little, but that all changed one Saturday afternoon when Katie was only a few months old. My dad was out and my mom was catching up on laundry in the basement. Katie was napping in her crib in my parents' room, and I was rummaging for snacks in the kitchen. As I returned to my spot in front of the living room TV, I saw Karen standing at the top of the steps holding Katie. In our house, the steps to the second floor were on the far side of the living room. Then she threw her. What? What you mean? That's not funny. It's not funny. I didn't think, I just reacted. I dropped my bowl of popcorn, ran and dove. I must have had an angel on my side because that catch was immaculate. He said, D1. Yes, I know this sounds cartoonishly evil, that it's hard to believe. I'm reading a story right now. You want to listen to it? Let me just reread it. I'm filming right now, but I'll reread it for you.
You don't have to reread it. Just come from where you are.
Okay. No, but okay, actually, no, you have to listen to this fucking story. Then she threw her.
Small. Then she threw her. How old is this kid? Just throwing her sister down the stairs?
He didn't say how old they were at the time that this situation happened. But currently, he's 45, she's 42, and Katie's 39. I guess I know this sounds cartoonishly evil, that it's hard to believe. I wouldn't believe it either if I hadn't lived it. But years later, Katie would confide in me that she knew exactly what she was doing, and it would eventually be corroborated by another source more later on. Did you hear that? It would eventually be corroborated by another source more later on.
So someone knew that the kid knew.
Her dad's like, I'll give you $50 to throw this fucking baby. Imagine.
I got too many kids. I'll give you $50 to throw that goddamn baby.
The baby cried and my mom came rushing in. Karen smiled and said that I had taken the baby because I wanted to play with her. Before I could say anything, I was punished for spilling popcorn and waking up my sister. After that, most of my childhood memories seem fairly typical for someone who grew up in the 80s and 90s. I remember being kind of a jerky big brother at times, teasing Karen about her fashion choices. What stands out is that her responses were almost never proportionate. I thought this was how kids learn how to be human. She thought it was how kids learn how to be shank. What the fuck? I thought this.
Do what?
Maybe I just don't know.
I don't get that sense.
And maybe I don't know 80s and 90s slang. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
My bad.
Okay.
Sorry. For example, I would make fun of her for getting a perm, and she would pull a knife on me. Whoa. What? This outfit, bitch? Yeah, I'm stabbing.
That is not a proportional reaction there, bro.
Yes, I do have a few physical scars from these encounters. She would demand I drive her somewhere. I would say no, and then my tires would be flattened. I would be at baseball practice. She would walk to the outfield fence and yell that my grandma died. This is actually how I learned of my paternal grandmother's passing. My parents always told me to stop antagonizing her, or they would make excuses for her behavior. Stress, sibling rivalry, medication side effects, traumatic head injury, and so on. I tried not to let it get to me, became more self-sufficient and distant. As a latchkey kid, I already had plenty of practice. I spent a lot of time in the woods, at my friend's house, or sequestered in my room when I was at home. When I graduated, I moved out and largely forgot about more psychotic behavior of my sister, though my dad would fill me in on the crazier stories during our weekly calls. There was the time Karen attacked Katie in the grocery store. Karen was the aggressor. Then she called the police herself. After taking statements and looking at the injuries, the officers arrested Karen. My parents let her sit in the lockup for the entire weekend, hoping she would learn her lesson. Spoiler, it did not. Around this time, she became a teen mom to a special needs kid. I could write an entire book about how she handled that, but no one would believe it either. Suffice it to say, it did not lead to maturity. I was living 2 hours away at the time, so I did not know everything she was doing. What I was told is that she had a habit of dropping her child off with relatives and then disappearing for days at a time. Everyone in the family insists that it was not drug related. I honestly do not know. What I do know is that one day she and the baby's father showed up at my door with my nephew, barged inside, dropped the child, and ran off while my back was turned. Calls and texts were ignored. Alright, look. It's time to call CPS. We already knew from...
Trying to be like a psychopath, like at a young age, that is not something that you're supposed to...
Now this bitch
That's not something normal.
Now this bitch is 42. She's done lived a life of crime.
She's like a Dexter, you know what I mean? Like just a functioning regular psychopath.
But Dexter's a good guy.
Okay, true. Well, yeah, like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but some people would say vigilante.
So Dexter's like Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a vigilante.
Dexter's like Spider-Man. That should be on an insert. Dexter's like
Spider-Man.
I don't think Spider-Man killed people, but...
He did. In a different universe, he killed his girlfriend. Hit her with that spine break. Broke her back in the worst way. I should have called Child Protective Services, but my parents told me not to. They said if Karen didn't come back by Monday morning, they would pick up my nephew. For 36 hours, I did my best to care for a nonverbal special needs toddler. Honestly, my nephew's sweet smile was what made me first seriously suspect that my sister might be clinically psychotic. It's completely boggled my mind that someone could abandon their own child even for just a few days. This pattern continued until her second child. Oh my god. This pattern continued. Who let this bitch have children, first of all? This pattern continued until her second child graduated high school last year. She never did it to me again, but my parents have had countless plans and vacations canceled because Karen simply could not be bothered to parent her own children. A few months after the incident, I had graduated and was living with my mom and dad temporarily while figuring out my next steps. I was keeping a low profile, doing freelance coding work, and blah blah blah. I don't even know all that.
Blah blah blah. Did you really say blah blah? Like I'm fucking done. Next part.
Anyway! I had been there about a week when Karen and her baby daddy asked me to babysit at the last minute. I told them I couldn't because I was on a deadline and working, hoping it would lead to more of a full-time job. Karen did not like the answer. I absolutely said something rude without looking up from my screen. She immediately started screaming that I had punched her in the head. She called the police and tried to file assault charges. To his credit, the baby daddy said he didn't see anything and didn't want to get involved. The officer took statements, found no injuries, and then asked me if I found somewhere safe to go. He said he didn't want to leave me there with her, but also didn't want them to them removed because of the baby. I ended up crashing with a friend, missing my deadline, and deciding I needed to get away from her. The next day, I started planning to move out of the state. That was 18 years ago. My dad still asks when I move it back to take over the family business. I say I have no interest. The truth is I would love to, but I don't want my sister anywhere near my life. There are many more examples of toxic behavior, rewriting history, co-opting other people's trauma, and weaponizing the police against family members. This is already long, so I'll spare you the rest. Now tell me more. Fast forward to recently, I'm recovering from my accident at home, enjoying my prescribed narcotics and watching football, when my dad calls to complain about Karen. Apparently, she's been calling the police on him for his customers for trespassing every other day for 2 months. Karen and her baby daddy turned husband lost their house and have been living in a small one-bedroom apartment above the family store with their youngest, who have started college. Niece had the option to move into the spare bedroom at my parents', but declined to whatever reason. Not every time, but sometimes when customers entered the store, she would get upset, start yelling, and call the cops. My dad acted like this behavior was brand new. I snapped. I told him that he couldn't be shocked or upset when he has spent 4 decades coddling her, making excuses, and refusing to force her to get help for her very obvious mental health issues. For context, my family has never shied away from mental health care. 30 years ago this week, my parents had me locked in a psych ward for a week after a depressing doodle I drew in class. After observation and interviews with both me and my parents, individually and in a group setting, the doctors told me it was amazing I was well adjusted as I was certified, not crazy. Dad refused to hear any of it. Then he brought the issue to the family group chat. At that point, I said, screw it, I've got time. I laid out a timeline of everything Karen has done since childhood. I deliberately left out the worst things that could irreparably damage her relationship with her kids. Even when I'm angry, I've been conditioned to protect her. I also included publicly available booking records and court documents to back up what I could because evidence matters. My dad called me stunned. While on the phone, he asked my mom about it. She confirmed everything, including Karen throwing Katie down the stairs. Apparently, she saw me diving and catched and punished me anyway. I'm probably not as livid as I should be about it. Katie texted me privately, thanking me for finally saying something. So far, how are you feeling about this? Because this shit is long. This is just the first post. It's not even an update. This nigga said, let me let it out. Karen went live and posted a bunch of fabricated nonsense about my father and me. I blocked her and told my family it was done. I set a boundary and asked them to respect it. I had been low contact for years, so going no contact was easy for me. All I asked was that they not share information about me, my wife, or our kids with Karen. Everyone agreed. Within 15 hours, my mom was trying to arrange a call to talk it out because she's my mom. I agreed to listen. Less than 15 seconds in, Karen was screaming her version of the story again. When I calmly said our father never beat her or threw her down the stairs, she replied, it doesn't matter if it actually happened. It's how I feel and my feelings are valid. It doesn't matter if my dad never threw me down the stairs. It just feels like he threw me down the stairs. I told my mom I loved her and hung up. Back in the new family chat without Karen, her husband, or her kids, my dad tried to downplay everything again. I told him I would no longer participate in my sister's delusions and that my boundaries stood until she got professional help. I was done. Karen continued posting rambling rants, which I ignored, and then I found out my parents were trying to set up another conversation. I politely declined. They persisted until my wife stepped in and told them to leave me alone so I could recover. That finally worked. This morning I woke up to Facebook posts from Katie discussing the drama and tagging both Karen and me, encouraging us to work it out. I untagged myself and restated my boundaries in the family chat. Several relatives began gaslighting me, saying I needed to be the bigger person and that this is just how she is. What broke me was when my dad telling me I was obsessed with Karen and needed self-reflection to become a better person. He's like the least obsessed with Karen. He does not want anything. He does not want to be in Karen's presence. After he saw that little bitch throw Katie down the stairs, he did not fuck with her. He got sliced up by her when he was a kid. He does not. He does not want to hang out with Karen. I snapped. I told him I'm the only one in the family who consistently takes responsibility for my actions. I'm the only one who has done years of therapy to break the generational curse he helped create. That part felt justified. Then I gathered every receipt, every trauma, lie, and documented incident, put it into a neat little holiday e-card, and sent it to every close friend, relative, and extended family member, including my sweet 101-year-old grandmother. Now I worry I went too far. So Reddit, am I the asshole?
No.
Yeah, I don't think he's an asshole. I think he's fed up with his family. His mom, why you punish me when you know it wasn't me who threw that baby down the stairs? Like, I know I'm the older brother, but how was I supposed to know that this little evil ass bitch was gonna throw my baby sister?
You never used to catch strays like that when you were younger? Like one of your siblings is in trouble and your mom passes you and goes, "Mom, fucking look at that."
Well, one, I think I was a badass little kid, so I was just getting like, in trouble a lot because of my own actions. But also, I was the youngest kid, so it's most likely that my siblings were catching most of the strays that I had to do with. I was just creating a hell for myself and others. So my camera ended up dying, so I never really got to finish recording the updates. There's 2 other updates, so if you guys would like to see those, they recently came out. I'll do it. It was a very long video already, so I was like, let me just cut it off here. In all honesty, I think he should just go no contact with his entire family. Maybe Katie, she could slide, she fine, but his dad, delusional. His mom, not a snitch, but she didn't protect her child. And yeah, it just seems like a lot going on. I feel like he should just press the block button. I think that would be enough, But that is all for today's video. If you guys liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. I'm not forcing you to do anything. Jesus Christ. Relax. And I am posting another video on Tuesday. I don't know if this was informed, but I do post on Sundays and Tuesdays. So check your girl out. Check your girl out. But anyway, you guys were watching HOBITUERRA, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.